Hey everybody, this is Samp&Chance. Unfortunately, Samp isn't here, but guess who I have with me? Ladies and gentlemen, the number one contender for the welterweight title, Mr. Cody Crawley, has come back for round two. We're not in the shower this time, we're at home. So guys, sit back, relax, strap in, and thank you for letting us into your ears. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance. I am your host, Bobby Sampson. Unfortunately, Chance Michaels couldn't be here today, duty call, so mad respect to Chance for taking care of his business. But guess what, guys? I have an amazing guest here today. Ladies and gentlemen, back for round two, the number one contender for the welterweight title, the WBC title of the world, Mr. Cody Crawley, has graciously decided to join us on the eve. I guess we're getting pretty close to it now, man, of the biggest fight of the year, Spence versus Crawford. You are one man who has to have some vested interest in this one. How are you, Cody?
I'm doing fantastic, brother. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, I guess this is a different setting. Last time you had me hot and sweaty in the sauna.
Yeah,
And
no, definitely, man. It's kind of
so great. We're better now here.
no, that was
I'm
awesome.
excited for the fight coming up.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't really go to too many fights
Mm-hmm.
at all. I think the last 2 years, I've went to two fights here in Vegas, even though there's fights every weekend.
Oh my goodness,
But
yeah.
I've definitely invested interest in.
You gonna be
Um,
there?
yeah, I'm gonna be there right ringside watching because I'm gunning for my rightful opportunity of the
Absolutely.
championship of the world.
Yeah. So what when you hear Boots talking and other guys that are talking, what do you say to that, my friend? I mean, I'm not trying to, just to be fair, like you've worked really, really hard, and Boots has worked really hard, to be fair as well. But you've been at the game longer and you've grinded longer. So ideally, what would you say to the people who are saying otherwise?
Um, you know what? To be honest, there is a lot of smoke and mirrors
Yeah,
in this boxing game.
yeah,
Even just you might have seen recently. On March 25th, I fought for the WBC Eliminator,
yeah,
which makes me the number one mandatory, which makes me number one in the rankings.
yep,
But if you go on Google, you'll still see Keith Thurman is number one on the rankings.
yeah. I don't. The rankings make no sense.
And legally, you have to have a fight within 12 months to be ranked in the top 10.
Yeah,
So that's illegal, or have a fight scheduled. And the other day, I heard that Thurman and Ugas were fighting for an interim WBA title, and I never got a call or asked for step aside money to sit and wait or anything like that. So I think a lot of stuff you see is just smoke and mirrors and people going and creating buzzes and stuff that's not actually true.
right.
Because I have that number one mandatory position. And after this fight, the WBC will mandate who I fight next,
Mm-hmm.
right? Depending on how this fight goes.
Right.
I I kind of see that both fighters are moving up. Um, that's how it looks like the welterweight division is going,
Mm-hmm.
and all these interim titles and title eliminators. It looks like as soon as this fight's over, all these belts become vacant, and we can just
Snap
pop
them
them
up.
off. There's
Let's do it. Let's do
like
it.
five or
Yeah.
six welterweight
Yeah.
in the world right now that we could have round robins of amazing fights going on instead of people just holding off and collecting all these titles and waiting. So
Different.
I think it's very, but that being said, I still want to fight the winner. And I deserve my shot at the title within 12 months. So I'm already some months into that,
Mm-hmm.
and I can just sit here on the bench until that fight comes.
Right. Right. Now, are you willing to sit for that long, considering you did fight in March? I mean, ideally, what would the crippler's ideal schedule be? Would you like to fight 3 times a year, 4 times a year, twice a year?
To be honest, right now, I would love to fight 4 times a year.
Right on.
But the way things are going
Yeah.
with fights and
Yeah.
negotiations is it just seems absolutely impossible because it's not being run off a system. It's
Hmm.
not being run like say off box rack, how they calculate points. And then, someone's here and they're the best. So if it operated more like that instead of picking and choosing fights, we would see fighters fighting 4 times a year. But right now it's twice a year.
Right on.
Luckily,
Yeah.
luckily though, because I've only been fighting once a year for the past 3 years.
Yeah, that's the
So
thing.
I just came back to Vegas. Today was my first time in the boxing gym in 4 months.
Hmm.
First time putting put my hand into a fist. It felt awesome. So I'm back here and I'm just starting to work. So, a couple weeks of getting the kinks out, moving the body, and I'm expecting myself to go straight into camp, even though no contract made or anything. Because I believe I'm going to fight in October, November, and I
Okay.
believe it's going to be for a world title.
And when that announcement is made, I will be there.
Thank you, brother. Thank
Oh,
you.
absolutely, man. Absolutely. Cody, let's go back to March though. I haven't seen too much, but how do you feel about your performance that night?
Um,
4 months later, you've had a lot of time to think about it. There was one thing that I found really, really cool about that fight, but before that, your overall thoughts and performances.
you know what? I give myself an A fucking plus
Okay.
for showing up and getting in there.
Yeah, yeah.
As far as physical performance based on just that boxing ability, I didn't see much elevation
Hmm.
as far as that, but the elevation that I seen was my mentality, the growth that
Yes.
I created in my mind
Yes.
of continuing to move forward
Yes.
with determination and will and self-belief.
Hmm.
And that is something that is so much better than having talent,
Yeah. Hmm.
So the fact that I got to go and build that battery even again is it feels like I took a step forward in my career, one, as a record, and two, as a person, you know.
Hmm.
Um, as far as the boxer, he went in there and did what he was supposed to do.
Right
He
on.
went and made it a rock'em sock'em robot fight. I told Abel right from, on Thursday at the press conference, meet me in the center of the ring. This is the Cody Crowley challenge.
Yeah.
And with, I think it was the second or third round, he was like on a bicycle, running. But he was still fighting. Nothing against him. But
Yeah.
I live for those moments where, you don't know who's gonna win. You got two
Right.
guys that have given it their all. And
100%.
it's just up to God who walks out the other side.
Right on. Right on.
Um,
One thing I thought was really cool was the instant replay that
yeah,
took place. Um, I've only seen it once before at a lower level, and it was on the money, right? To have it done at the top level, and Showtime is top level. Right now, in my opinion, Showtime is probably the best promotion going in terms of what they've
yeah.
done.
Shout out to everybody at Showtime,
Yeah,
Espinoza, every worker that they have there. Every time I go to fight, they make me feel like I'm at home, and they make it so much fun.
no, phenomenal. I mean, think about it. They had the Garcia tank, and they got this coming up in 2 weeks. Spence Crawford. We did a mid-year in review show, and I actually picked not because I was there, to be honest. I mean, I'm a mark, but I'm not that big of a mark. But we picked that card in March as the best card overall, like every fight, like from opening card from the opening fight to you. I mean, how many cards have been a title eliminator to start the night?
Yeah,
And with you and Abel, and then to have Venezuela and Colbert. I mean, the controversy around that fight a little bit. It was, it was just an insane night. I mean, all of it. The other Amos coming out, putting
yeah.
on that performance that he did, and then to close it out with Caleb and David the way they did. It was just a phenomenal night of fights right across the board. That was the best card of the year. I watch every card.
Yeah,
across the.
everyone, the fights were good. The fans were amazing.
Oh my God, it was loud in
Um,
there.
it was just a great time. Everyone had a good time.
It was rabid in there, man. I tell you, like I don't know how loud you could hear it, or obviously your mind is focused, but just being in that crowd, the intensity, and it just oh, wow, hands down. I mean, MGM is the place, man. I don't. I mean, I get T-Mobile and I get the money grab and all that kind of stuff, but man, there's nothing like watching a fight at MGM, and
Yeah,
it's
and there's really not a bad seat in the house.
no, and it's
The
affordable.
whole entire bowl is perfect.
No, it's phenomenal and it's affordable. Like I was
Yeah.
looking at the Garcia fight. I was thinking about it. 1,500 was the upper bowl cost.
Wow.
So my flight and hotel would have been cheaper than the ticket to go.
That's crazy.
Right where Crawford and Spence is 600 is the cheapest ticket.
Mhm. Oh, wow.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and this is the problem I think we have. Like I personally feel that Spence and Crawford is the best fight we've had in your division since the Four Kings, in terms of the two guys that are going unifying and everything and becoming undisputed. Like for me, I'm a Hagler guy. That's who I
Yeah.
grew up with. That's who I fell in love with. He's the one who made me fall in love with the sweet science. So growing up as a kid, as a very little kid, it was only the Four Kings that I ever saw. And then I started to discover everyone else around them, but it was always those four guys. So for me, I just think back and I remember my dad because he and I would sit together watching all these fights. And this Spence Crawford fight is probably the closest thing we're getting in terms of talent and everything. I wouldn't say the talent was there with Ryan and Tank, but mind you, when you have 95 million Instagram followers, yeah, the casual fan's gonna latch on, right? So
For sure. For sure. Yeah,
but
this kind of seems like it's going full circle to the Hagler Hearns type of era.
yeah. And actually I saw Hearns. He was in Detroit at the Baumgartner fight on Saturday. Oh man, he looks old.
Who's that?
Hearns, Tommy Hearns.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in Detroit at the Alicia Baumgartner fight on Saturday.
Okay. You went to that?
No, dude. I was just watching it. Like that's basically my weekends. I start in the morning in London or wherever the first fight is in Japan. I'll watch that, then I'll go to London and watch those fights, and then I'll slowly see what the evening brings us, and then I'll watch all those fights.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got a love for the sport, brother.
Brother, I love the sport with the passion. I love boxing. I love the discipline. I love the science. I love brawlers, don't get me wrong, but I grew up with the science and the technique. And for me, that's just the passion I have, man. And this is what this is all about for me. Like I can't be a boxer anymore. I've missed that train, but I figured this is my way into the game again to kind of elevate everyone that comes across us. That's all I want to do. Your success is now my success. That's the way I look at it all, right? I don't
Thank
shit
you.
on anyone who's successful. I don't care who they are. Even if I don't like them, I won't shit on their success because I'm trying to be there. And you worked your ass off. You gave it all up. You came to Vegas like you told us in the first time around. So, you did it. Ryan's done it. Everyone we've talked to has similar kind of story, right? Little tweaks here and there, but ultimately you all worked your ass off.
And yeah, and I think one of the common things about every single story is that they were just ordinary people that had a will and a determination to not give up
No,
when an obstacle would be presented.
no, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've trained. I have trained. Like I said, my dad was a welterweight boxer himself. He was an amateur boxer. He fought in the Indian Army when he was there. So he did really well for himself. He was undefeated as an amateur, but he never took it to the next level. I guess things were different then. But his techniques, his training is very old school. So when my dad actually trained me, the first 2 weeks, I couldn't even throw a punch. All I did was calisthenics for 2 weeks. No weights, nothing. He took me to the high school track and he made me do frog hops 2 laps around the track.
That's awesome.
And when I accomplished that, then I was allowed to learn how to throw a jab.
Yeah, you got to earn it, right?
No, 100%. So, I mean, it's being installed in me that way, right? Like we're of the last old generation, I like to think, where hard work is what's going to get you success. Your handout, thinking you deserve it, thinking you supposed to have it. No, you work for it, man. That's the only way.
Yeah, I agree with you. It kind of, today's day and age, feels like everyone's addicted to simple pleasures.
It is.
Instant
It's a
gratification.
it's a 20-second memory. You know what I mean? Everyone's basically just instant gratification. Nobody wants to work for anything. Nobody wants to put the time in or enjoy the journey. You know, it's just kind of like, and I know this is the first example that came in my mind, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Marijuana, for example. I mean, there's so many people now, they just want to smoke the vape or they want to do that. Nobody wants to roll a joint anymore, man. Right? I mean,
Yeah,
I loved the process of sitting there, taking it out, grinding it, and taking that effort and putting it all together and rolling it and making this beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, you talk to a lot
it's
of people.
yeah, it's just like going and making a nice home cooked delicious meal or going through the drive-through type of deal, right?
Brother, I tell you what, man, I've changed that too. Like, everything we do at home, we try to eat out maybe once a week now. We do everything at home. Only way to go. I just don't trust the outside anymore, man. I don't.
No,
But
it's pretty scary.
this is a beautiful segue to what I want to mention next here. So we touched on these little details briefly the last time around, and because now we know who you are, I would love to kind of engage a little bit more about this and get this more out here. My understanding is you're a vegetarian or
No,
vegan.
so yeah, I was plant-based for a very long time.
Okay.
Well, a couple years in
Yeah.
2019 when all my body just shut down, all my
Right.
organs shut down from a multitude of things, overtraining,
Hmm.
over toxification of the body, and then also nervous system trauma that was just built up inside my body.
Okay.
Um, and me, basically, my soul kind of living out of alignment, right? Not my
Understood.
heart space enough.
Your
And
chakras.
yeah, well, or just living in my heart space, in my head too much, right?
Mhm.
And my body just shut down. Organs failed, adrenals, and then my neurological brain function started to go.
Mhm.
And I was stuck in bed for months and months.
Oh.
Um, yeah, like, I think it was right after my last fight in 2019. I didn't leave my bed for like almost 2 months, I want to say.
Oh my goodness.
And something inside of me just shifted one night and I went plant-based diet.
Hmm.
And then I started meditating and doing breath work, and I started just changing my whole perspective on what I am, and I'm an organism, and it was all my choices and actions that I did that led to my body getting into that state that it was in.
Okay.
The check engine light came on multiple times when, the skin rashes would appear, when the bowels wouldn't be proper, and I poop blood,
Oh.
or it wouldn't matter how much caffeine I had no energy. My body was telling me all these and I just
Yeah.
didn't listen, right?
Which is
Or change
no.
anything. And
We're
it just kept
guys.
going downhill.
Yeah.
And so when I went plant-based, I would say within about 90 days, all those health issues basically went into remission.
Oh wow.
And I felt absolutely amazing. I would wake up every day and train, then break my fast with a juice, go for a hike. A couple hours later, I'd drink a smoothie, and then I'd have one Whole Foods meal at nighttime.
Hmm.
Uh, and I still really wasn't eating meat at the time until I had another fight come up,
Okay.
because my weight was so low
Right.
and I was walking around in like the 50s, but I didn't have the muscle mass that I had because I wasn't really training. I was just
Mm.
living in the woods, hiking, stuff like that. So when I came back about 4 weeks before my first fight back, I started incorporating meat. Um, and now it's kind of like I almost need that density
Hmm.
of the meat, at least
Hmm.
I feel,
Hmm.
to stay in that grind mode of working like a dog.
Yeah.
There's something in the meat. It is more dense to the body.
Yeah,
When I don't have it, I kind of just want to run around and hug everybody.
I
It
understand. So,
literally shifts that much.
well, let's keep in mind you are a warrior. And if
Yeah,
you think
yeah.
about it, lions and tigers and all the greatest warriors of the planet are all, need a little bit of that density to be the kings, right? So that totally makes sense. When you talk about plant-based, are you talking about like Beyond Burgers or like more natural plant-based? Because I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, most of those Beyond stuff and everything are probably worse for you than actual meat. Is that
Of course.
okay?
Well, so a lot of the billion-dollar food companies and dead corporations, right? They don't mind if their customers have a change of taste, right? They're just going to change the product up a little bit, but still have the same stuff in it that makes them addicted, that adds toxicity to their body, that just isn't that great for them. So when I say plant-based, or I
Yes,
like whole foods,
whole foods are
basically, if it comes from the ground, great. If it's not, what we are, which is a walking piece of earth, water, oxygen, nutrients from the soil,
yeah.
don't eat it. So really the only things that wouldn't be consumable would be processed foods,
Okay.
right? If something isn't processed or contaminated, right? Even like a lot of the vegetables that we have nowadays, now they're all getting contaminated with glyphosate and other roundups that are designed to kill your microbiome in your stomach, basically,
Yeah.
and not allow you to even digest nutrients once you do get healthy or
Hmm.
start eating more healthy,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Now, like there's something wrong in the engine. The gas won't fully go through.
Right on.
Doesn't
Right on.
in.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I just wanted to clarify that because when people hear plant-based, they think Beyond Burgers and all that kind of stuff. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't that, and you were talking more whole foods and whatnot. But you're also very into a holistic lifestyle as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that's really my goal and passion in life, is to just be a walking billboard of health,
Awesome.
because the experiences that I've had with my own health, it shows me and taught me that literally nothing outside of our body means anything.
Hmm.
The only thing that actually means something is this vessel that we get to use to have this experience.
Absolutely.
Everything else, I can light a house on fire and it's just gone. I
Yeah.
can light $1 million on fire and it's gone. Or
Hmm.
they could just take it out of the bank and it's gone.
Hmm.
But the one thing we have forever is our health. And we do have a say on how healthy that organism is, right? The directory of how it goes. Are we waking up every day and our cells are thriving and living and regenerating, or are they dying and decaying every day
Right.
based on how we treat it?
Right.
And so if I feel good, well, if I'm healthy, I feel good. If I feel good, I tend to look good. When I look good and feel good, I tend to smile a lot and want to help other people a lot more. The only time I don't want to help other people is when I feel like shit, when I
100%.
feel tired, when, my brain's foggy, when I would have an autoimmune flare and all my joints swell up. Now it's not fun to go work out with you at the gym because I'm in pain the whole time.
Right on.
But
Yeah.
I was free and feeling great. I'm gonna be running beside you, pumping you up. Let's go, and we're gonna hold each other accountable and just keep growing.
Right on.
So yeah, my biggest passion right now is to live the greatest, healthiest life that I can, and have other people lock arms and meet people who have those same interests and intentions, and just have a kick-ass life.
That's awesome, brother. That is so awesome. As soon as we started talking about that, I can tell you when you go back and watch this, you'll see it. Your eyes changed, everything, your demeanor changed. A glow came around you, bro. I could see that's your passion. So what are your goals with this then? What do you plan to do? Are you going to start programs? Are you going to start seminars? Or have you even thought that far?
To be honest, it is the biggest thing that I've been working on myself as far as my being is being able to not just be the fighter all the time.
Right.
Right. You look at a lot of fighters or anybody, right? We become what we do.
Yeah.
And we wear that mask 24/7. And being a fighter, well, what are you training to do every day putting on that mask? You're training to shield yourself.
Right.
You're training to not show emotion, to not show love or compassion to one another. Right. So when I am doing that, training that, it's been the best training ground for me spiritually to be able to shield and open to eventually being able to do both at the exact same time.
Right on. So,
but right now,
yeah.
That being said, my mind, when I do go into boxing, I get so closed off that it's hard for me to hold other projects at the same time and be open to them.
Right on.
That I really don't want to dive too deep into that, bite off more than I can chew, and have it affect my boxing career until it's done.
No, I get that.
While I'm still boxing right now, I'm in the middle of opening up some nonprofits, which ties to mental health, which ties to nutrition, which ties to their lifestyle and how they move and operate their vessel. So it's all kind of synergistically mind, body, spirit together.
Love it.
I'm starting kind of, the nonprofit way.
Good.
I would love to expand that more and have a piece of land in a beautiful space in maybe Costa Rica or somewhere, and have open doors where people can come. They can ground with the beautiful nature that's there and learn other ways or tools that they can add to their life to make their life a little bit more happier and healthier.
Well, brother, you have a platform here. As soon as you're ready, let us know. We'll get everything up there. Make sure everyone knows what's going on. But I'm sure that's a few years down the road, but you're in the right direction, man. Chance wanted me to ask you this question. There's the one question that we touched on briefly. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just grabbing this coconut water.
Please do. I got my water. We're ready to go.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I'll be honest, since I last talked to you, you've kind of made me change a lot in terms of, how I have been living. So, I mean, I'm not 100% yet. I still have a lot to work to do, but this is the first step for me, right? For me, it's always been Diet Pepsi. I'm a Diet Pepsi guy, right? So
a huge change, brother.
Yeah.
Huge
so little things like that. And just going to get there now. We're just going to keep going. Cause just like you, I understand what I have in front of me. And, again, just to piggyback off what you were talking about earlier, I always say this is very selfish, but it's not selfish. If I don't take care of myself before anyone else, then I'm no good to anyone else. Basically was what you were saying. So it's the same kind of philosophy. I realize I can't be good to this show. I can't grow this if I'm not good to myself. So, I need to be better to me to be better for everything else. So yeah, same philosophy here, man.
All starts right there and just expands out.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So Chance wanted to know, we talked about this briefly. You also are into music and you like to create music, I understand. So I would love to find out, what kind of stuff are you into? Like, what do you like to make? Can we find your stuff?
Well, you were there, right, in the arena?
Yeah.
So my fight, the song that girl was singing, I actually wrote that song.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Called Fighter.
Nice.
And so that one, I was teaching a fitness class with a group of people here in Vegas, and she just came to it one day, and I wanted to get into music right before this happened, and then boom, just a professional singer and songwriter shows up in my life. That's awesome. Then I started writing in my feelings and what I wanted to show, my story, and then she just went and created a little beat to it, and we made a quick little song. And then it never quite got finished because I was just too busy. And then during weigh-ins on Friday, she wasn't even coming to the fight, but I was doing breath work, and I had this connection with my dad. He came down and see me, and then we sat and we watched the whole walkout, and it was her in this white dress with diamonds everywhere, and she was leading me and my whole team, and it just looked like freaking angels walking out of this place. And I immediately called her right after, and I was like, "Hey, you're singing tomorrow night in the MGM," which is her first time. She's never done that before, and we don't even have a finished recording, but you're just gonna use what we got. And she's like, "Okay." Boom. So it was a huge night for me, but also to have a friend be able to go and grow themselves and experience new things is amazing.
Man, you touch a lot of people that night, brother.
Yeah, it was super fun. And then so she went and redid the song, and then produced it and put it out on iTunes and all the platforms.
Awesome.
So it's a little bit different than on Fight Night.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still called Fighter by Sage Waters.
Okay, well, I will find that and we'll put it up there as well, man, for you. Definitely
Brother.
Sage Waters. Absolutely.
Yeah, so music,
Yeah.
it's just been so big to me the
Yeah.
last 3 years. Well, unravel that more. As a child growing up, I used to sit and listen to music and feel that anger and that pain in it. And that's what I would use before training, right? I would love listening to like Eminem or 50 Cent, just this hard stuff. And it would make me feel these emotions, right? And it was like I was riding that wave right with them. I was literally having that same experience, and I could take that and transmute it into a fight. And now I'm like, fighting is so limited on how I get to express myself. People only get to see a very limited version of me because I'm putting that mask on for the fight.
Yeah.
But music, just like I've experienced my whole life, I could go and share how I truly feel about myself, about the world, about my relationships. And somewhere, anywhere in the world at any time can listen to that, ride that same wave, same experience or their own perception of it, but feel like they 100% know me to my core.
Right.
And it's just what humans are, is that connectedness,
Yeah. No.
That feeling. So I'm very passionate about it. I really want to get into rap. I think it's hilarious. It'll be like the next little white Eminem.
Do it, man. Why not?
I was a kid, but I really am very interested in the guitar right now and learning how to play the guitar.
Cool. We should jam sometime.
So I'm up for it. Brother. But yeah, that's all about the music. I'm slowly getting into it.
Right on.
But singers and musicians just keep popping out left, right, and center.
Yeah. Well, you're in the place too, right? I mean,
yeah. And then even when I was in Canada, for the last 5 weeks, I was at a Canadian Country Award, and I got up on stage in front of a couple thousand people and announced the artists. And I was like, fuck, this is where I need to be. It's so nice hearing everyone chant for you and cheer for you, and you didn't have to like worry about getting hit or hurt. It was awesome.
It's a different vibe, man. It's a different vibe. So you grew up predominantly listening to rap and hip hop then. Is that fair to say, as a kid as well? That was your thing?
Rap, hip hop. But before that, country music. As a little kid, I would listen to country.
That would make sense.
Want to be a little country singer, right? And go and woo all the girls.
Fair play. Yeah, no, I'm very much the same. This whole arm is actually dedicated to all the bands that I like and have influenced me. So this whole arm is just like, I got U2, I got the Smiths, I got Pink Floyd, the Chemical Brothers, Depeche Mode, Elvis, Eddie from Iron Maiden. But every one of these bands has formed me to be who I am today. I know, like, I think you can appreciate that. Like, it really sculpted me. Like, music for me, like U2 especially, they're my favorite band. I've seen them 22 times around the world. Just because I don't know what band it is for you, but U2 is that one band for me. No matter what issue I have, if I need an answer and I'm not finding it, somehow Bono tells me what I need to do or guides me in the direction I need to through a lyric.
Yes.
It's just uncanny how he's done that over the years for me.
Yeah. Consciousness always talking back to you.
Right. So I mean, and every one of these guys, right? Elvis Presley, who would have thought? But I mean, he was the guy I fell in love with first, musically. Just I was 3 years old and that was it for me as Elvis. And then I discovered Iron Maiden. Right. So it was just like all the time. But yeah, no, your tattoos.
Yeah, I got quite a bit, brother. I got
What's
when I made my pro debut,
yeah,
June 28th, 2014, when I won my first title in Canada,
yeah,
in my hometown. I got boxing gloves with Canadian flag hanging and Crowley written
wow,
across it.
beauty.
Royal flush for the unbeatable hand.
There
So
you
my
go.
left.
There you go.
And then I got rise above.
Awesome.
Never quit on my ribs.
Yeah,
And then I got angel wings
on your back.
with a halo. Yeah, my dad's name and
Awesome.
a heart that says never fear love.
Fair enough, man. How is the family? How's your mom? How's everyone doing? It's been a tumultuous last 3, 4 months here. Everyone good?
Yeah, everyone's doing good. There's always, there's always stuff going on and new stuff
Yeah,
happening, things you have to
yeah,
deal with. But they're doing real good. And everyone outside of my mom and my sister and her two kids, the
yeah.
outlinks of our family, they've been absolutely amazing.
That's awesome,
And
man.
when I'm not there, they've been the rock for my mom, my sister.
Okay, good.
Uh, and yeah, the community, everybody's just been amazing.
That's phenomenal. Now, you're originally from Douro, right? Douro, Ontario. Okay,
Yeah.
cool, cool, cool. Awesome, bro. Um, Cody, I tell you what, man, we've covered so much ground here, brother, man. This has been phenomenal. I love everything that we've done, but I would love, and you know what? Maybe we could call this a soundbite. I might make a short out of this. What's your message to the winner of September 29th, my friend? What's your message to the world?
July?
Or July 29th, man.
Yeah.
Your vested interest. Huh? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you said September.
Oh,
She had
sorry,
me
sorry, sorry,
thrown
sorry.
off.
Pardon me. I'm thinking Canelo and Charlo there. Actually, before that, let me ask you a really quick question because I feel that you and Tim Zoo are going to be in the same kind of situation here. This guy's done everything he's supposed to do. He's still not getting his fight. Yet you're getting one of the Charlos going up there now and taking that fight. How do you feel about that? Like, I mean, Tim's done everything, man, and that what he
Yeah.
did to Harrison was just unbelievable.
Yeah, he should get the fights he wants. It's shitty that, there's powers that be, but hopefully maybe they'll wake up one of these days soon and start giving the fighters what they deserve.
Right, right. And
That's
Canelo
really,
coming.
that's really all you can say about it.
No, fair play, fair play. But you're kind of in the so is David to a certain extent, right? I mean, here's David. He's kind of waiting in line as well. So, like, I mean, both of you guys are in the same kind of boat. You're both waiting for that big fight, and you're kind of, where am I supposed to go from here, sort of a deal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure he's got things he's trying to figure out, and you're trying to figure out your next step as well. But
Yeah.
there's a shelf life to this, right?
Yeah, but to be honest, back before I got really sick,
Yeah.
I used to sit and ponder about every day what was going to happen in boxing after
Mhm,
every fight and
mhm.
when's this going to happen, everything. And that's what caused a lot of my sickness. And now I don't worry about when I'm going to fight, who I'm going to fight. I
Okay.
have full belief that, everything's not happening to me, it's happening for me. So even if this fight doesn't happen at the end of the year, there's a reason why it's not happening. I'm not making any excuses or blaming anybody. But even like that, I haven't been told to get ready for a specific date or anything, but
Okay.
I just know in my heart and I have a feeling when certain things are going to happen.
Got it. Got it.
So I just go with that,
Uh,
and whatever God has planned, that's what's next. I don't even, after every single fight, I never know if I'm going to fight again.
Fair enough, brother. No, I get that 100%. All right. Well, I tell you what, man. So prediction and
Prediction.
message.
Oh, prediction.
Who do you got?
To be honest, I've always been thinking Spence. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So honestly, I've always been thinking Spence, but for some reason, I don't know. He just looks tired.
Mhm.
His body just looks tired. I don't. Maybe he's not tired at all, but like maybe I just feel like maybe those car accidents. Maybe I've took something out of him. He looks a little bit slower, and Crawford looks like he's got more zap in him. Like there's still more fire burning in there, which I didn't see before. So I'm kind of now like, shoot, I have no idea.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
either one of them, I just think it's going to be a great fight that's going to go toe to toe,
Yeah.
and it has the opportunity to go toe to toe and make them two of the greatest warriors that has been seen in this last decade, or a crazy stellar knockout when they are going toe to toe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone just remembers that fight.
Yeah, yeah, no
So
doubt.
they kind of have the opportunity for like immortality in this fight, right? This
Hmm.
is one that's going to be remembered for generations,
Yeah,
decades after.
yeah.
Um, but either one of them, I want to fight.
Oh,
That
for
is
sure.
it. It doesn't matter who's in the ring. I want to fight. The
Fair
whole
enough.
thing about really me fighting, it's me versus me. It has nothing to do with that other person. It's how I show up for myself, what I do in training. Everyone knows if they do the right thing or the wrong thing all day long, right? And as long as I know that I'm doing the right thing, the right outcome is going to happen for my highest good.
That's awesome.
So
Actually, I
yeah,
love that. I fight for myself. I love that. That's
yeah.
beautiful, man. That totally makes
Yeah,
sense.
well, the person you're in there fighting, they're a mirror showing you,
Yeah.
right? Okay, well, you gassed out and you got run over. Well, what did that person show you? He might have just gave you the greatest gift in the world,
Yeah.
that you don't train hard enough.
Right on. No, fair enough, man.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
always giving you something.
yeah, yeah. Spence being tired. I thought he looked really sluggish and tired when he came back from the car accident against Garcia. I didn't really take too much. I didn't think he looked great in that fight. To be fair, after that fight, I didn't even think him and Crawford would even be that good. I thought Crawford would have just ran over him at that point, the way he looked against Garcia. But when he came out against Ugas, he looked great. He looked really good against Ugas, which made this fight exciting again. Are you basing it off the what you've seen recently or from the like
Not even about the boxing ability, like
okay.
watching him train or stuff like that.
Oh, this
Um,
transcended just him overall.
just just him in general, and the speech and his movements.
Yeah, I got
He
you.
just he he looks very wise, and and he's getting older.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of sucks that one of these guys got to lose, eh?
Yeah, it really does, but
It
this is
does.
why we're in it.
No, no,
these fights
no. I get it.
these fights should be happening,
I know.
all the time.
Well, man, I tell you what, I think David and Caleb really started it. I mean, after that, we've just been going crazy. I mean, look at this. I would never have thought we'd see undisputed versus undisputed this year. I thought maybe two or three fights that I thought we'd get, right? I mean, Usyk and Fury are disappointing so bad. I mean,
Yeah.
Ryan, Chance and I talk about this constantly. There's two guys in the boxing world, in my opinion, um, that are mainstream. And one is Canelo and one is Tyson Fury. So when the casual fan is watching the sport that I love and you love, those are the guys that are going to bring him in, to be fair. Like, because they got the biggest names, right? I
Yes.
mean, it's just the way it is, unfortunately. And the way Fury's been acting recently, if you're a casual fan, why would you want to become a boxing fan if you're seeing that? You know what I mean? Just from a casual fan perspective, because those are the guys that are bringing in those eyes, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that hurts the game for me because, I mean, we have all this opportunity in the world to see some amazing fights and we're getting them, but the greatest level of boxing, which is the heavyweights, regardless what anyone, always everyone wants to see the heavyweights fight. And, here we got one of the greatest and he's not willing to fight.
Right.
Right. He's fighting Nagano. Your thoughts? Any idea about that?
No, I didn't hear about that.
So he's fighting Francis Nagano in October, I believe.
Yeah.
So he's fighting him, and it's actually going to be on their records. It's a fight on the records.
Huh. Well, this is interesting.
Yeah. So you got Joshua White coming up. Deontay's trying to get Andy Ruiz in the ring, but he won't fight. So that's a heavyweight division, brother.
Yeah. And to be honest, I don't blame Tyson for depending on the situation, he's probably getting paid stupid money for that fight.
They're both getting paid stupid money, right? I mean, the bags are going to be huge.
Yeah. So you can't blame them, because at the same time they went through these same problems that a lot of these other fighters are going through, right?
Sure.
Where
it's just their time now.
So it's like, okay, well, if something's rigged, then I don't feel bad going over here and doing this and taking the lion's share of what I can do.
Well, I mean, they got the permission from WBC because technically he's supposed to defend, by December. He's supposed to do his mandatory, but he's not going to do it because he's fighting this one. So he got special permission for WBC to allow him to do this fight and not be stripped in December. So based on what happens with Dubois and Usyk, because Usyk is now fighting Dubois, in the meantime, this fight will probably happen in January now or February.
Kind of makes it a cluster for everything, eh?
Well, it is, man, because I mean, what they were trying to do initially, they were going to do this 2-fight deal down in Saudi, where you had Deontay versus Joshua and Usyk versus Fury on the same card. So in essence, whoever wins between Deontay and Joshua will take on the winner of Usyk Fury. In essence, that's what you would think would happen. But now what's happening is Joshua's fighting White with the intention of fighting Wilder in December still. So that fight's still taking place. But in the meantime, he's going to fight Dillian White in London. You got Daniel Dubois now challenging Usyk for the other 3 titles. And you got Nagano and what's his face? Wilder's trying to make a fight with Andy Ruiz, but Andy says it's not enough money. He wants a 50-50 split. And then you got Tyson versus Francis Nagano. That's a heavyweight scene for the fall, or for the rest of the summer and fall.
Interesting.
Yeah, man. Well, I tell you what, brother, man, let's wrap this up. Let's get the day going here for whatever's left of it. Brother, I want to say thank you so much for coming on and enlightening us with more great stuff. And you look great. You look healthy. It's great to see, brother. I love that smile. Any passing words? Anything you want to share with the world before we sign off?
I want to thank you, first of all. And thank you for showing up, and thank you for making those changes that you have and continuing to support other fighters and helping grow their platform. So from the bottom of my heart, I truly, truly commend you and thank you and honor you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Well, like I said, man, I want to ride with the champ. So I'm waiting for that title shot. And then I can say, yeah, I'm friends with the world champion, brother.
Yeah.
Right? Absolutely. That's where we're going, right? Canada's strong. We need a big name from Canada. I don't think anyone stood out since GSP. So we gotta get it going here, brother.
We got it. So thank you.
Thank you.
End it with everybody, love yourself no matter where you are at today. You're perfect. You are right where you're supposed to be, and continue moving forward no matter how it feels.
There you go.
Smile and keep rocking.
Awesome, brother, man. There you go. Straight from Cody Crawley, the crippler himself. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Samp&Chance. Everybody, in the meantime and in between time, that's it for Samp&Chance. We will find you guys on the other side. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.